rights organisation Amnesty International has released a report detailing the arrest and disappearance and torture of opponents of Yemen's Houthi rebel group. The Houthis are allied to Iran and have controlled Yemen's capital Sana'a since September 2014. They continue to fight government forces who have been backed by Saudi-led coalition forces since March 2015. Amnesty says it has recorded 60 cases of political opponents of the Houthis being illegally arrested and detained, but the group says the actual number is more likely to be in the hundreds. The detainees include politicians, journalists and activists, as well as politically unaffiliated people. Amnesty says some detainees have been held in secret locations. The Houthis deny that any political opponents have been detained, while also accusing detainees of working for the Saudi-led coalition. Baraa Shiban is the Yemen project coordinator for the international human rights NGO Reprieve. He joins us live from London. Welcome to the programme. Tell us more about the people that have been detained.
Hi. Actually, there isn't an exact figure of how many people, or there is a specific count of how many people are being detained with the Houthis since September. But we have followed, me in my personal capacity, have followed many cases throughout. I mean, numerous and a number of human rights organizations. Trying at least to give access to their families. Many of them, unfortunately, even the families themselves don't have access to. They've been refused even giving them even a phone call to talk to their families. The recent report by Amnesty International, yes, talks about 60 people have been detained, but actually those are the people who Amnesty have been able to reach to. Many of the provinces remain in the, Amnesty simply don't have access to reach to all locations and all places.
Do you believe the Houthis have restricted personal freedoms in the areas that is under their control, and can you give us examples?
An example of a number of the people detained with the Houthis were journalists. Those were people who work in could be newspapers, could be websites that are not under the Houthi. They're not under the Houthi control, and most of them have been arrested. Some of the journalists who have been released after that said that they were targeted for simply sometimes even having a Facebook post. Sometimes could be just a tweet through Twitter. There have been 3 cases where journalists were held at military camps. Then later on were targeted by the Saudi-led coalition. The situation and the conditions they've been held at is very terrible, to say the least. They haven't been given access, again I say, to their to talk to their families or even see a lawyer. When we speak to the general prosecutor, for example, he says this is a different entity that doesn't belong to him. Those are held in sometimes could be used the state prisons, but do not follow him. So they don't question. You cannot question him, and those people will not necessarily answer to him.
Okay.
And this is one of the many difficulties human rights activists face when it comes to following up with those detainees.
Okay, Baraa Shiban in London, thank you very much for joining us on TRT World.